Welcome to True Fear Files, where we uncover the darkest and most chilling true stories that the world tried to forget. I'm your host, and tonight we're diving into one of the most heartbreaking unsolved mysteries in American history. A story about a little boy, no more than 6 years old, found dead in a cardboard box on the side of a road. A boy who remained nameless for 65 years. A boy whose identity was finally discovered in 2022, but whose killer remains unknown. This is the story of the boy in the box. Imagine you're driving down a quiet road in rural Pennsylvania. It's 1957. You see something unusual in the bushes. You stop to investigate, and then you realize it's not trash, it's a cardboard box. And inside that box is the body of a small child. This nightmare became a reality for a young man named Frank in February 1957. And what he discovered would haunt an entire city for decades. February 25th, 1957. Fox Chase, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. A college student was checking his muskrat traps in a wooded area along Susquehanna Road when he noticed a large cardboard box lying in the underbrush. Something about it seemed off. He opened the box and saw what appeared to be a doll. But as he looked closer, the horrifying truth set in. It wasn't a doll. It was the body of a young boy. The student, terrified, ran from the scene. He didn't report it to police. He was checking traps illegally and feared getting in trouble. Days later, another man discovered the same box and immediately called the authorities. When police arrived, they found a small boy, estimated to be between 4 and 6 years old. He was wrapped in a plaid blanket inside a large J.C. Penney bassinet box. The boy was naked. His body showed signs of severe abuse. He had been beaten. His hair had been recently and crudely cut, with clumps of hair still found in the box. Investigators believed he had been dead for several weeks, possibly months. But here's what was most disturbing. No one had reported a missing child matching his description. Not in Philadelphia, not in Pennsylvania, not anywhere in the United States. The police were baffled. How could a child go missing and no one report it? Investigators launched one of the most extensive missing persons investigations in American history. They distributed over 400,000 flyers with the boy's post-mortem photograph. A haunting image of a small child with a somber expression. The flyers were sent across the country. They were posted in police stations, post offices, and schools. Detectives went door to door in the surrounding neighborhoods, showing the photo and asking if anyone recognized the boy. But no one did. Police checked adoption agencies, orphanages, hospitals, and foster care systems. They followed up on thousands of tips. Some people claimed to recognize the boy, but every lead went nowhere. The boy's fingerprints didn't match any records. Dental records led to nothing. It was as if this child had never existed. And so, he was buried in a potter's field, a cemetery for the unidentified and unclaimed, under a small headstone that read, "Heavenly Father, bless this unknown boy." Who was this child? And how did he end up in that box? Over the decades, several theories emerged. The autopsy revealed troubling details. The boy had been malnourished. His body showed signs of long-term abuse. There were scars on his body that suggested repeated trauma. His hair had been cut shortly before or after death, possibly to alter his appearance or remove evidence. Some investigators believed he had been kept hidden, possibly locked away in a basement or attic. Maybe he was the child of someone who didn't want him. Maybe he was being abused and his caretaker killed him, then dumped the body to avoid detection. But why would no one report him missing? The most likely explanation is that the boy was never officially registered. He may have been born at home, never given a birth certificate, never enrolled in school. He was invisible to society, and when he died, no one cared enough to come forward. In 1998, over 40 years after the boy's death, a woman came forward with a shocking claim. She said she knew who the boy was. She claimed her abusive mother had purchased the boy from his biological parents and kept him in the basement of their home. According to the woman, her mother severely abused the boy. One day she said her mother was giving the boy a bath and became enraged. She beat him and he died. Terrified, the mother placed the boy's body in a box and dumped it on Susquehanna Road. The woman's story was detailed and disturbing, but there were problems. Investigators found inconsistencies in her account. She had a history of mental illness, and some details didn't match the evidence. Despite extensive investigation, police could never corroborate her story. Some believe she was telling the truth. Others think it was a delusion or fabrication. To this day, the validity of her claims remains uncertain. For 65 years, the boy remained nameless. He became known as America's unknown child and the boy in the box. His case became one of the most famous cold cases in the country. Generations of detectives worked on the case, determined to give the boy his name. But every lead went cold until 2022. In December 2022, the Philadelphia Police Department made a stunning announcement. Using advanced DNA technology and genetic genealogy, the same technique used to catch the Golden State Killer, investigators had finally identified the boy. His name was Joseph Augustus Zarelli. He was 4 years old when he died. He was born on January 13th, 1953. His parents were Joseph Zarelli Sr. and Mary Elizabeth Zarelli. Finally, after 65 years, the boy had a name. But the breakthrough raised even more questions. Who were Joseph's parents? Why didn't they report him missing? And most importantly, who killed him? Investigators have been working to answer these questions. Joseph's birth parents are both deceased, but detectives have been interviewing surviving family members. What they've discovered is troubling. It appears Joseph may have been given up or sold shortly after birth. Records suggest he was placed in foster care or with another family, but the details remain murky. The people who might have had custody of Joseph are either dead or have not been identified. So, while we now know the boy's name, we still don't know who killed him or why. Several theories about Joseph's death have emerged. Theory 1: abuse by a caretaker. Joseph may have been in the care of someone, possibly a foster parent or relative, who abused him over time. The abuse escalated, and one day it went too far. Afraid of being caught, the caretaker disposed of his body. Theory 2: child trafficking or illegal adoption. Some believe Joseph was part of an illegal adoption or trafficking ring. He may have been sold to someone who later killed him. Theory 3: family secret. Joseph may have been an unwanted child, hidden away by a family member who was ashamed or unable to care for him. When he died, they dumped the body to avoid scandal. Theory 4: a random act of violence. Though less likely given the evidence of long-term abuse, some believe Joseph was abducted and killed by a stranger. We may never know the full truth, but thanks to modern DNA technology, Joseph Augustus Zarelli finally has his name, and investigators are still working to find justice. In 2022, Joseph was given a proper burial. His headstone now reads, Joseph Augustus Zarelli, the boy in the box, beloved child of God. Hundreds of people attended his memorial service, many of whom had never met him, but had followed his case for years. For over 6 decades, Joseph was just a nameless victim, a tragic mystery, but now he's remembered, not as the boy in the box, but as Joseph, a little boy who deserved so much better. To this day, Joseph's killer has not been found, but the case is still open. Detectives are actively investigating. They are interviewing family members, tracking down leads, and using genealogy to piece together Joseph's short life. They believe they are closer than ever to finding answers, and they won't stop until Joseph gets the justice he deserves. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more true crime stories like this. And let me know in the comments, do you think Joseph's killer will ever be found? Until next time, stay safe. And remember, every victim deserves a name